But to Barnaby Joyce, the Nationals frontbencher and former Deputy Prime Minister. Barnaby, great to see you, as we do on every Thursday. Look, this new push from the government to get lots more renewable energy targets, since its targets are all in trouble, it sounds to me a terrible, terrible mistake.
It's power alchemy, isn't it? I mean, it's just this mythology that somehow we can create in Australia what hasn't been created anywhere else in the world. There's not one country that runs on renewable energy the way where Australia wants to go. And when they try to do it, such as Germany, it falls flat in its face. Now let's look at what Mr. Bowen announced today. He's basically said we're going to go from 6 gigawatts to 32 gigawatts of underwritten by you, the taxpayer, foreign companies basically ripping you off on your power bills. What they will do is they'll say, okay, we can put in a bid, let's put in one. We demand a rate of return of 8%. And then I said, well, we can borrow the money at 4.5%, 8%. This is just money for jam. Well, how do you do that? Well, these fools walk up, and when a fool walks up, you've got to rip them off. And we're ripping off the Australian government, who get their money back from the Australian people, from you. And, if this is so affordable, Mr. Bowen, if it's so logical, why do you need to subsidise it? Shouldn't just the market take care of it and not pop up like mushrooms? But no, it's not working. It's a fiasco. It's a debacle, and it's hurting your listeners. If we don't have cheap energy, and we don't have cheap wages, and resources are at global prices, where's your competitive advantage? How can you grow the economy when it's just structurally deficient in one of its fundamental food stocks, which is energy?
Look, Barnaby, this is a total disaster, and it's just going to get worse. It's a tragedy to see all these extra billions now being promised. I'm going to talk more about this with Terry McCrann after you, but I want to go to a tweet from you that actually surprised me, Barnaby. Yesterday was the 60th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas, shot in the head as he drove in an open car. The man that was blamed, a communist sympathiser, Lee Harvey Oswald, was himself later shot dead by a gangster. And you tweeted that 65% of Americans don't believe the Warren report that this assassination was done only by Oswald with a dodgy ex-military Italian rifle firing from the 6th floor of the Texas Book Depository 81 metres away, and at a moving target at that. And you said, nor do I. Why? What is your evidence?
Well, I suppose it's, we don't have the conclusive evidence. The Warren report, 800 pages. Do you know there was 13,000 pages to the report into Dungowan Dam? Now, when you take a person's head, I hate to say it so graphically, a person's head moving in a motor car, 81 metres away is a person with a Carano rifle. But but people have disparagingly say the safest place to be in a Carano rifle is in front of the barrel. So he managed to get 3 shots away and tragically a bullseye with a dodgy rifle and a miracle bullet. And the person who led the investigation, Dulles, he was actually sacked by Kennedy and led the investigation into the assassination of Kennedy. Kennedy had said he'd break up the influence of Cuba within the United States, basically the Cuban cohort, into 1,000 pieces. He had a reason to have a whole range of enemies. And it's just I have a rifle, and I have rifles that are much better than a Carano. It probably came out around about 1900, 1910 it was built. And this is just, I believe, it's just beyond belief that this could have happened. And when you look at the ballistics of exactly what happened, it just throws so many questions there, and even
I
hearing
suspect
further reports.
We will never, ever get to the bottom of it. I tell you, this is a good time to plug someone that I like and whose hospitality I enjoyed when I was the ambassador to The Hague. Brett Mason has written a book that you might be interested in, the former senator, Saving Lieutenant Kennedy, how an Australian soldier in World War II led a group that saved him when he was in the water, off the drink, off Japanese controlled islands. Brilliant read. Brett Mason can tell a good story. But to a local problem, Barnaby, the good rains of the past couple of years, so much for global warming, has caused a rat plague in central Queensland that has now spread to northern Queensland. It's just so extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. It's so bad, there's actually a carpet of dead rats on the beach at Corumba on the Gulf of Carpentaria. They keep getting drowned by the rising tide. I think they go out to try and get shellfish or something. How serious is this?
Well, I mean, what happens with rats, of course, they get into your motor vehicle, they chew out your wiring, they chew out your air conditioner system, they chew through your gauze. They've obviously had a little bit of a problem with them in the past. They brought about bubonic plague. But putting that aside, they're just filth. And what you'll see is they get into your food, they'll climb into bed with kids. You don't want them. They're nasty bits of work.
Well, I don't know. We've lost sound there. But Barnaby, I don't know about that. But I'll tell you what, if anyone's got any more gas masks they can send up to the poor people of Corumba, I think they'll be gratefully accepted. Barnaby Joyce, congratulations on your wedding the other week. I'm glad you're back from your honeymoon. Thank you so much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.